Welcome to Current Density with Jayden.
Jayden.
Okay, so today's episode is about the city of tomorrow. So this podcast episode where we explore how the city of the future will look and how young people like us can make a difference. So today we're diving into some exciting topics from towering skyscraper to community redesigns. So grab your headphones, sit back, and let's start reimagining our world. How are you, Jayden?
Oh yes, I'm doing really good.
Okay.
We're currently on the Easter weekend, so
Yeah.
I'm really feeling upbeat for the long weekend that's coming up. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
Yes. So do I. I feel the same way. So let's talk about the city. Let's talk about will future city be in the sky or vertical or horizontal? So what do you think the advantage of and the disadvantage are the building cities in the sky?
In the sky. So building cities vertically makes, exceptionally efficient use of the limited land, right? There's a lot of people, there's not much land to build on. Obviously, you have to go up. You can stack residences, workplaces, and amenities in high-rise structures. And that can reduce urban sprawl and preserve green space for parks and agriculture. Mixed-use skyscrapers can integrate housing, offices, shops, and even in Surrey, I think a university campus is integrated into the office buildings. So they can integrate all that and reduce the walking distance that people have to go to get to different amenities and services.
Exactly.
And that can cut commute times and also energy consumption. However, sustainable vertical cities, they can have some significant drawbacks as well. So the environmental impact and so the resources and the amount of drilling needed to really build those mega structures, particularly their high water and energy footprints, are typically far greater than those of typical horizontal expansion. Vertical developments often have a fixed lifespan and limited adaptability, right? Once you build it, there's really not many options to expand. And that sort of raises the question of, hey, is this going to be feasible economically in the long term? And can it really adjust to the rapidly changing urban need? Yeah.
So that's very thoughtful breakdown of both potential and pitfalls of vertical living. So let's explore how these kinds of cities could actually help solve one of the biggest urban challenges, overpopulation. So how do you think vertical cities can help solve problems like overpopulation?
So vertical cities, their main benefit is having a lot of space within a limited plot of land. So with their compact footprints, vertical city designs can alleviate overpopulation pressures in land scarce regions, offering they can offer housing, healthcare, education, recreation facilities, and all of that in a single integrated ecosystem. This can also reduce per capita resource use, such as lowering transportation energy per resident, since you're all living in the same integrated building, and that can also mitigate the strain on water, food, and energy systems on the urban populations as well.
Okay, so it's fascinating how the compact design could ease the urban pressure in the future. But what about the cities that aren't built on land at all? So let's take a look at challenges of floating or underground city. So what challenges do you think we face when creating floating or underground cities?
Yeah, so floating cities, I think it's kind of like a relatively modern concept, right? Well, we have artificial islands, of course, but I read about some attempts that many countries are making towards building a city that actually floats on water. In Saudi Arabia, there's something called the NEOM project. I think we had a brief discussion before on this.
Yeah.
They have something called the Oxagon, which is a industrial city that is partially built on water, and that can allow for more efficient like harbors and transportation and that kind of stuff. But obviously, building a whole city on floating water comes with very complex engineering challenges. Like, how are you going to get it to float and get it to be stable, right? Ballast management, there's waves coming in, and how are you going to make it like modular with like, some designs have like different pods, and they're all connected like that. How are you going to maintain that? And how are you going to deal with the forces of nature, such as like hurricanes or strong tidal waves? And financial hurdles, obviously. It's going to take a lot of resources, investment, and public persuasion. Is it really worth the money to build the city on water, where it can be much cheaper to just move it off to the coast or build it on the mainland? So underground urban developments. Do you know of any like projects right now that are like mainly focused on
not
this?
really.
Underground tunneling, I feel like I've heard about like these projects. Elon Musk's, a boring company. They're trying to dig an underground like super highway network where you can like put your car inside like a capsule, and that will transport you at very high speeds.
From West Coast to East Coast?
Yeah, for like longer distances, I think. They haven't like really like done like huge scales tunneling yet. When I was it Seattle? There was a really fascinating underground city museum.
Okay.
Yeah, so what they did was the city was originally like level on the ground, but what they did is during urban developments they just paved over the underground cities. So now what we think is land was the stuff that they actually steamrolled over and just paved over all of that, and now the underground like infrastructure just remains as a ancient relic that we get to explore in museums.
So is it in the Seattle?
I think, yeah, when I visited, the underground tour. It is Seattle's most unusual attraction. You get to stroll through subterranean storefronts and sidewalks, entombed when the city rebuilt on top of itself after the Great Fire of 1889. Yeah, I remember like seeing a lot of like cool like.
Have you been here?
Yeah, I think I took the tour when I was young.
Okay. Wow. Good.
Yeah, and I feel like there are like some videos on like social media like titled "Exploring the Mysterious Underground Tunnels of New York City." I bet a long time ago they actually used to use those underground networks as a mean of transportation or just like service tunnels, but they just when it got paved over, I guess nobody really thought about it, and now they're abandoned like pathways all over like underground cities. If there was an underground city exploration, like if they really wanted to build a modern city underground, I think that's more like an apocalyptic scenario, right?
Exactly.
Where have you seen the dramas like TV series Silo?
Yeah, I know what it is. Yes, I know what it is.
I saw the trailer and like some clips of it. I never watched the full thing, but basically like the earth is way polluted and uninhabitable, and all these people live in a underground like silo, and everyone has like different tiers. Yeah.
So basically, can we live without sunlight? A human?
Well, we need vitamin D. We can compensate for that. But I think there's a more like a mental toll on us, right?
Exactly.
If we, we humans have to have like some connection to the natural world. I feel like if we get too trapped in urban spaces, that kind of like, at least for me, it like sort of like I need to get out and walk and like admire nature, at least for like short moments. But those moments are quite important in refreshing our mind and like boosting our morale. Yeah.
Sure. So those are some intense engineering and social hurdles. So now let's shifting gears a bit. What if our digital city became reality? So let's talk about what we can learn from city building games.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. So, currently there is a movie, Minecraft movie.
The Minecraft movie. Oh my God. I don't know why people are going like.
It's number one now from the.
I need to watch it. I haven't
box
watched it
office
yet.
is number one.
I haven't played a single.
Oh.
Like I've never played Minecraft. I used to like when I went to my friend's house when I was very very young. I played it for like 10 minutes, and that was the end of my Minecraft experience.
But I think it's the very. I think it's one of the most popular computer game from Microsoft. So it is Microsoft game. It is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is. It is Microsoft.
I think there's like a Microsoft edition, and there's like the Java edition. Like I don't know, but I think there.
Yeah, I went to Seattle
Yeah.
To visit the Microsoft, the company. There's a visitor centers, and then as soon as I get into the building, there's a big theme of Minecraft of the game theme.
You're
there.
right. In 2014, Mojang, the studio that developed it, and the Minecraft intellectual property were purchased by Microsoft for $2.5 billion. US dollars.
Oh, yeah. Wow. And then it's a huge industry, right? So Minecraft has everything, goods.
Yeah.
Now they have a movie.
The movie, I heard that the movie was in development for 13 years.
Yeah.
They changed multiple directors. There were like a lot of
and then,
arguments about that.
Currently, there is a video which is really viral.
Yeah.
The people
throw
popcorn.
Chicken jockey.
And so it's huge right now.
I feel like most of the clips that are going viral on social media are really, really random. Like, you can take any clip and like show it to the right people and maybe it will go viral. But like, I've seen people throwing popcorn.
Yeah. But it's like, also a social issue right now. It's not normal.
They brought like live chickens into the theater.
Yeah.
Like someone set off fireworks inside the theater.
So
oh
anyway, I think it's one of the evidence of popularity of Minecraft.
Yeah, and like before the like memes went viral, people were criticizing the movie a lot based on the trailer for they expected like a real Minecraft like graphics kind of thing, but they got like sort of like a mixed in. There are actual humans in the Minecraft world, and all the characters look.
Yeah.
It's like halfway between pixelated and like real life.
Yeah.
So like people were saying, "Hey, who did the artwork? Why this movie looks like trash?" And then the memes started rolling out, and then suddenly like, most of the people were happy about like the movie, partially because of like the frenzy that was going on.
Yeah, and then partially because of the casting, I think. There's a Jack Black,
Jason Momoa,
and then a couple of casting.
Yeah,
I think they are such a great actor in that movie.
Yeah.
And, so the question is, can playing game like SimCity or Minecraft teach us anything about real world city planning?
Yeah, so my own experience with city games, I actually played Cities Skylines a lot. So that's like probably the most realistic and most popular city building simulator. So basically, for people who have not heard this game, so you basically start off with a plot of land and a single highway connection to the outside world, right? So you first of all you start building roads, and you have a limited amount of money that you can spend. So you have to start small. You build roads, and then beside roads are zones. So you can zone it as residential, commercial, offices, or industry. And as you progress, you unlock more complicated infrastructures. You can build public transportation networks. You can set the city budget and taxing. You can set policies. You can build districts and set like specific zones or policies in those districts. You can manage different types of industries like fishing, harbors, and it's all, I think, quite realistic in some ways. And although in some ways it's not, like I wish personally that I could have more precise control over the roads, like how the signals work and how different roads connect to each other. But otherwise, I think it's a really good opportunity to learn like how, if I think of this in my head, will it actually play out nicely on paper? And simulations obviously are a great way to look into, will my ideas actually work, right? Because if you're a real life city planner and you want to plan a new city from scratch, how are you going to start? How are you going to build, right? And I think testing it out with these simulations are a great way to figure out your like basic layout before you actually start pouring the concrete in. Because unlike the simulator, right, in real life, once you lay down the roads or you build an intersection, that's built, right?
Yeah,
you can't easily demolish it like you could do it in the game. Me personally, I've tried many ideas. Some of them did not work out that very well. Like, I think one of the most challenging things that I encountered in this City Skylines game was traffic and how to place industry, right? Because industrial zones like factories, they produce air pollution.
Yeah.
So you don't want them near residential zones.
Yes.
But at the same time, they send out an enormous amount of trucks and
Labors.
Traffic that need to go to the commercial zones that are like built between the residential zones, right? So what you end up with is a huge stream of trucks that need to get from the industrial all the way into various parts of your city, and then you have a huge stream that leaves your city and goes back into the industrial zones. And then that creates a huge amount of traffic that's just constantly going back and forth, right? And I've tried various road layouts. I've tried giving them a direct highway connection, but I found it to be really challenging to manage all that industrial traffic flow in and out of the city. Yeah. And in the industry zone itself, cars and trucks tend to get like really caught up in that zone itself, like not even commuting between areas. So I think learning and experimenting with different ideas through simulations and City Skylines sort of immerses the player in the big concept, right? All the aspects of like a city planner or a mayor would have, like zoning, budgeting, and like demand-driven service. There's actually demands for zones. You need to build more industry, they tell you that, or you need to build more office zones.
The game tells you what to do.
Yeah, the game tells you what zones the people want, right? If you don't have enough industrial, people are not going to move to your city, and no new houses are going to be built. In Minecraft, although I don't know that much about it, there's like creative mode, sandbox, and people have been building like amazing whole like cities and beautiful castle, and like different kinds of buildings that they can use in Minecraft. And also I heard there was like a 1-to-1 scale of Earth on a Minecraft server, and people were like purchasing like plots of land to build their property on. All of these like simulation games, although, you know, they are meant in a way for like fun, but if, you know, you apply the parameters correctly, then I believe that they can greatly benefit your like practical knowledge of city planning and where to build what. Yeah.
So I have a question about the city skyline game.
Yeah, yeah.
So the land, territory
Yeah.
you build,
Yeah.
is it limited space, right?
Yeah, it is limited, obviously, because your computer has restraints. You start off with one land tile. That's pretty big in itself. I believe you can expand up to 8 or 9 land tiles before that's the maximum limit the game can handle.
So one tile,
Yeah.
how big is it? If you compare to the real city, like a...
I don't know. It's enough to build a small, like fully functioning city.
Okay.
Or if you expand your city, I think my downtown area in my current city can fit in one land tile. But that's not small, right? It's a really big area.
And then you
can build a lot. Yeah.
You can make 8 tiles.
Yeah, I believe the limit is 8 or 9. Yeah.
okay.
So there's like bodies of water. You can strategically purchase land tiles depending on what kind of terrain do you want, what kind of resources do you want. Do you want water? Do you want like mineral ores that's buried in the ground? And there's a lot of like expansion packs to the game as well. There's like a specific like farming industry expansion, public transportation expansion, like hotels and resorts expansion, pedestrian areas, and so on.
You said it's most realistic game you ever played.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but so my question is, people who play this game try to make a exact same city. Like if, for example, I wanna build Vancouver City in the game, or it's more like my own design city.
I think the latter would be true. Like for most of like when I was like young, I watched like YouTube videos on like creators, and that was like more creative creation, right? I don't think people are like purchasing the game to necessarily like replicate exactly the cities that we see today. You can make use of that structure, of course, but I think the main purpose is to really let your imagination play into the game.
Yes, of course, yes.
They actually, the developers, released a new version, City Skylines 2.
When?
I think it was like a couple months ago.
Okay. Wow, really? It's still
I think
going
it was,
on.
yeah, 2.
It's from Steam. Oh,
Yeah.
I can see. Oh, but it's not a Steam.
Oh, it released on 2023. Yeah.
Okay.
October 2023.
It's different company. Different company?
So it is on Steam, right? Steam is just like a place where developers upload their games so people can buy them. It's from Colossal Order, Paradox Interactive. Yeah.
Is it free to play?
No. I purchased the City Skylines, the original game, for like $40.
Okay. But it's a one-time payment.
One-time payment. But there's obviously a lot of like expansion packs you can purchase. There's a lot of them. There's like night simulation, like enhanced night simulations, snow expansion packs, like
So it's kind of
effects, and they give you like more tools, infrastructures, buildings, that kind of stuff. But I think the base game itself is pretty interesting to play. I think based on like what are your interests in building a city, you can purchase different packs. But the City Skylines 2 game, I think the graphics are much more better. They have more intricate like road designs, but it requires more performance on your computer. Don't judge me, but I play it on a MacBook.
Okay.
I think people really hate Mac gaming,
Oh.
right? But City Skylines 2 did not release for Mac. It's Windows only. Yeah.
Oh.
A lot of like top end games are Windows only because like serious gamers never game on a Mac.
Oh yeah. And you can also play this on Xbox.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Controllers. But I really think it's going to be hard to play on a controller because like there's so many menus.
Okay.
And you really have to be precise in your gameplay. But personally, I think it's a great game. The only other like major game that I have installed is something called Airport CEO. It's where you build and manage your own airport.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's very, very specific to airport operations.
Wow.
And that is a topic that I could really speak about for a very long time.
Okay.
But let's move on to
Yeah,
the
okay.
next question.
Okay. All right. But that game is also can be played on Mac.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you've captured how games can be more than just fun. Let's say they are actually full of urban planning lessons. Speaking of which, how do these games help us understand real life issues like traffic and resources?
Yeah, so as I said in City Skylines, players can analyze traffic flow through various road designs and public transit networks. There's also, options for one-way streets, bus lanes, and rail, subway, ferry systems to alleviate congestion. And that can really parallel real planners' use of traffic simulation tools. Resource mechanics in the game can teach importance of balancing budgets for like utilities, waste management. Oh yeah, that's another big thing. Garbage.
Oh,
Garbage trucks.
landfills.
Landfills and garbage trucks. You have no idea how much, like,
Space you need.
like how many garbage trucks you need for your city.
Oh.
Yeah, people really complain if they don't get their garbage picked up, and they have like incineration plants. You have to place them in the industry area because they produce pollution, right? So, like in my earlier designs, I had like just a huge line of garbage trucks just waiting to get into the city.
Okay.
And yeah, definitely, it's been improved since then, but waste management is definitely a challenge.
Wow.
The game has something called a waste transfer facility. So it's a place where you can, it's a facility that you can place in your urban areas, and it doesn't cause much pollution. It's just a temporary storage place for garbage trucks, and then the waste can be transferred to another processing plant in like big trucks. So like there's not a lot of traffic going through. Yeah.
Wow.
Resource management. There's also like fishing zones. Emergency services, yes. Police, medical hospitals,
Fire station.
fire stations, and of course there's educational components as well.
Schools.
How far can a public library influence nearby residents? There is like so much that goes into the simulation. There are so many factors, and it's very, very fun to get to experience from like a top-down view of how a city works and what components does a city need in order to function properly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then, so let's say you build a public library in a certain place, and then it turned out it's not efficient.
So there's a certain radius that it can influence, right? So if I was a resident, I wouldn't want to travel like tens of kilometers just to get to a public library, right? So I wouldn't end up visiting it if it's too far away. And that's kind of the same thing for like schools and emergency services.
And then
as well.
how do you adjust it? So if you want to build another library in different places, you just click and move it, or?
Yeah, I can click, and most buildings have to be placed on a road. So I have to build the road first and then place the buildings next to the roads. Yeah, that's how it works.
And it takes time to build it, or just click it and boom?
For buildings, no. But for like houses and office spaces,
You have to
it takes a short time to build. So it depends on demand. If there's no demand, it won't get built. even if I assign the zones. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a very clever observation. So virtual city can really reflect real world strolls. So now let's take a slight different lens. What can we learn from games like GTA about public safety and space design?
Well, number one, I think that's like age restricted pretty heavily. I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
Obviously, I've never played it, but I've heard about like GTA 6 that's coming up. Like, I believe people have been waiting for the 6th edition of the game for a really, really long time. Like there's memes all over the place where we got this before GTA 6. We cured cancer before GTA 6. So yeah, but Grand Theft. So GTA stands for Grand Theft Auto, and I believe it's like a first-person game. And I don't know, you live in like, I believe that's a real city. That
Yes,
you live in,
it is
right?
real. Yeah, it is real. Every detail in the game is real.
Yeah, I guess that's why it takes a huge amount of time to develop. Obviously, it's very detailed, and it highlights the consequences of poorly planned public spaces, I think. Like, there's a lot of violence in the game as well.
A lot.
Showing how neglected streetscapes and unit alleys become crime hotspots in the gameplay. Scholars actually note that GTA 4's map design mirrors the defensible space theory. So with a certain architectural features and traffic patterns facilitating or deterring crime, underscoring the role of the environmental layout in public safety. I think layouts are very, very important. In some areas, like it just feels spooky, right? And in certain designs, it feels much more open and safe. And I think by understanding our current designs on various places, right, we can track in which neighborhoods or cities do we have the most crime rates, where do people feel most uncomfortable. We can compare that to cities that are relatively safer. Although there are obviously a lot of like human influences to this, there are also systematic, like the underpinnings that drive the uncertainty or violence or crime in certain areas. So, yeah, I think the game is based off on that, and we can learn from what we actually built in the past to improve on our future designs.
So interesting how even fictional spaces can reveal so much about our real environments. Moving into the real world again, so let's think about spaces available to teens in our cities today. So are there enough space in the cities where teenagers can relax, study, or socialize safely?
Teens. I think, and I found that many urban centers sort of like lack dedicated youth zones. Yeah, there's not like a space, especially like designated for teens. And in some cases, that leads adolescents to congregate in unsupervised or poorly maintained spots, which can make a unsafe or hostile environment. So legal restrictions on loitering and curfews further limits teens' access to parks, plazas, and community centers. And that kind of, in some cases, discourage them from actually using publicly available spaces.
Exactly. So sometimes when I see the teenagers on the street, I feel like it's not the safe zone sometimes. So that highlights the big gap in urban planning. So what kind of spaces do you think cities should be building more of, especially for teenagers like yourself?
So research highlights the value of teen-oriented, like, for example, skate parks or multi-use community centers or like pop-up venues and like teen-run services like cafes. And generally, spaces designated with like flexible programming and youth input, and that sort of meets the adolescents' needs for leisure, study, and peer interaction. So, co-design workshops and youth councils, I believe, are methods that can ensure these facilities reflect the local teens' interests and cultural backgrounds, and also like could benefit the society, like people living in this city in general. But you need that communication between the target audience, right? If a bunch of like adults just randomly design spaces without interacting with, at least interviewing and talking about their plans with the youth groups, then it's not going to be a plan that really accounts for what we actually want and need. Yeah.
So that's a solid vision for more inclusive, teen-friendly cities. But how do we design these spaces so they actually attract and engage young people?
I think some spaces that I saw incorporate like teen artwork, so handmade artwork, reliable Wi-Fi, since we always have to be on our phones every day. Ergonomics like seating and dynamic lighting helps public areas feel welcoming and safe, and that kind of signals to the youth that, hey, you can chill out here. You don't have to feel scared in this like city center. There's also like pop-up art installations, and also different kind of like workshops that can transform natural spaces into more engaging and interactive environments. And that kind of persuades, like sends out a message to teens that, you can freely interact and hang out in this space, and we're all benefiting from, we'll all benefit from those positive impacts.
And so those are some great design ideas. So now, safety is another key concern. So how can lighting and open spaces help make neighborhoods feel safer for teens?
Yeah, so lighting, I think it's a very important part of safety, and like even the feeling of safety, right? When I was in Canada like 10 years ago, my mom used to be very scared at driving at night because there were not many street lamps in the highways, and she says it's very much improved from back then. Well-designed lighting schemes can enhance natural surveillance by eliminating dark corners and shadowed paths, which deters potential like criminals and offenders and increases the perceived safety of the streets and parks for teens and basically for everyone, right? No one is like really like immune from what the violence or criminal activity that may happen in streets, especially at night. So open sight lines where vegetation and like street furniture do not obstruct views, and that allows residents and people passing by to monitor activity. So if there's like a collective group that can always turn their eyes on you, right? You're less likely to commit a crime than in places that you're pretty confident that you're not going to be spotted. Yeah.
Okay, so it's clear how design plays a big role in safety. So let's look further. How can we use things like streets, parks, and buildings to create safer communities overall?
So I think when we're designing, especially like downtown spaces, we don't want it to be like towering over us necessarily. Okay, we need clear, direct pathways, right? And sort of like on the ground level, we should have like some storefronts and like publicly like visible like signage, so that people walking on the ground floor sort of have things to look at, and orienting windows and balconies towards public areas that sort of extends the natural guardianship, because you're indirectly putting eyes on the busiest parts of the city, and strengthening the community's ability to like sort of like self-police and deter crime. That I know that's a difficult task, right? Especially in downtown urban areas, there tends to be more, a higher rate of crime than, let's say, in suburban areas.
Yeah, yeah.
But like mixed-use development that blends residential, commercial, and recreational functions. The purpose is, I think, to keep people flowing, or at least not leave the major parts of the city isolated and unwatched, especially during nighttime. And having those facilities and implementing like clear pathways that people can travel through, that can greatly reduce the risk of like leaving parts of the city like, quote, unwatched.
Yeah.
Right? If you have a constant stream of people going back and forth, there's going to be way less of a probability that a offense will occur in that area.
So those strategies can really shape how secure a community feels. So lastly, let's talk about creativity. So how can teens take the lead in transforming unused space into vibrant art spots?
Well, I think there are a couple ways that we can collaborate in that. We can team up with local nonprofits, businesses, and municipal art programs to pitch like alleyway mural projects. I've seen some in like downtown Vancouver. I've seen some in West Vancouver, and those are like really nice like spaces to like walk through, right? Otherwise, it would have been like a kind of like a spooky alleyway, but with the nice artwork, it feels very upbeat and bright. Pop-up markets, performance stages, or like securing like micro grants and community support for different kinds of projects. And I think especially for youth, we can involve ourselves more in the municipal sort of like meetings and town halls and stuff like that. Participating in the community and like urban initiatives can give us teens some practical experience in placemaking, and we can, with those efforts, maybe turn a neglected corridor into something more vibrant and into some place that more people will enjoy. Ultimately, what urban planning does is it lays out the foundation for the people who live in that area, right? So the better the system is laid out, the more safer it is, the happier the people are, the more incentive is given for like, if you're walking down the street, going to work, you might as well have like a more positive or joyful experience going back and forth in the streets, right? Transportation design. If you're stuck in traffic and banging your head on the steering wheel all day, you're not going to feel as good. So I believe that urban planning, not many people talk about it, but that is an important thing that we should be interested in when we're planning new cities or trying to improve our current standard of life in our city. So teens can get involved, and our like cities and municipalities can get involved as well, just to improve the environment for everyone. I think a better urban design would benefit all members of society that are living in it. Yeah.
So that's a powerful way for youth to reclaim and reimagine their environment. So your ideas truly show how teens can shape the future of our cities. So that's it. For today's episode. And that wraps up today's episode of City of Tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in and imagining the future with us. Thank you so much for your insight, Jayden.
Yeah, it's been, over the past, I think this is the 14th episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of things. Like we started with media, advertising, free trade, college degrees, business education, airplane accidents, mental health, the power of kindness, how skyscrapers are built, future of transportation. So I think we talked about a lot of things over the past episodes, and I was really, I'm honored, and I was really glad to like talk about my opinions and my experiences on these subjects.
I also feel like a very, very productive and educational the episode. It is.
Yeah,
So thank
cool.
you so much. So, guys, remember, so keep dreaming big and stay creative. So and don't forget to subscribe. So we're gonna come back.
Yeah, sure.
And we will see you next time on Current Density with Jayden. Bye-bye.